सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We saw at the beginning of the 4th chapter certain very important things, and by way of introduction I mentioned how the 4th chapter is the elaboration of self-knowledge that was introduced in the 2nd chapter, verses 12 to 30. 12 to 30, how certain nature of the Atma as Avyaya, etc. was given, is now going to be elaborated in chapters 4 and 5. We saw that. We also saw the beginning, Bhagavan singing the glories of the knowledge and the way of life given in the Bhagavad Gita through the first couple of verses. And what was that? This yoga, this teaching was given by me, Bhagavan declares. To whom? To Surya Bhagavan. And Surya Bhagavan gave it to Manu, his son, under whose era we are still living, Vaivasvata Manu. And then after that we have, then Manu gave it to a solar king in the dynasty of the solar dynasty. What was his name? Ikshvaku. And then this knowledge was lost. Lost doesn't mean lost. Otherwise, how would we be studying the Gita now? And then, of course, there was a very appropriate question in the satsang, that if the knowledge given via the Kshatriya Parampara, the kingly lineage, is lost, then what are we going to do with this? Then how do we know that the knowledge given by the Rishi lineage, not just the Rajarshis, the Maharshis and all that, how come that also is not compromised? So we have to understand properly the meaning of the word nashtaha. Nashtaha doesn't mean destroyed, doesn't mean lost. What does it mean? It means it became rarer and rarer for people to practice it. It doesn't mean that those who were practicing it distorted it. That is not possible. Because if there were people who were practicing it, there were people who were teaching it, there were people who were giving it to the next in line, the sons and the other kings, etc. But the number of Rajarshis grew fewer and fewer. Which is why Lord Krishna had to take avatara. Is it not? Yeah. This is why Lord Krishna had to take avatara. So it became fewer and fewer people practicing it. And so this is what we are hearing in the beginning of the 4th chapter. And then Lord Krishna says, what does he say to Arjuna? You are my bhakta. First, you are my bhakta. Why? Because you yourself asked for this knowledge. That's why you are my bhakta. When did he ask for this knowledge? Chapter 3. 2. Okay, very good. So, even after 2 days, still memory is strong. Very nice. So, in chapter 2, he said, Shishyah te aham shadhimam tvam prapannam. What kind of a Shishya I am? I am the Shishya that has surrendered to you. Please teach me. Leaving the Guru no choice. And so this is exactly how the teaching proceeds. And now he says, Bhaktah asi me, you are my bhakta and you are my sakha. They were contemporaries and they were both very naughty. Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they used to go and do all kinds of mischief together, which we'll hear about in chapter 11. And because he asks pardon, he says, for all the times I might have done something wrong, because now I'm seeing you in this cosmic form, and all the times I have ahara nidra shana shayaneshu. So while eating, while drinking, while doing so many things together that we did, I may have done severe and serious papa. So please forgive me. So that means they were doing a lot of mischief together. They were having a lot of wonderful things together, experiences together. So then he says, you are my sakha. Sakha, even though it ends in long a, it's masculine, friend. Sakha asi, tvam, you are my friend. And then, since you are my friend, see, friend doesn't mean somebody who will always agree with you. That's not a friend. Friend is also not somebody who will just do as they tell them to. That's also not a friend. Friend is also not someone who will keep on being dependent on you or make you dependent on them. That is some kind of a relationship with some emotional problems. That too is not a friend. So then who is the friend? The one who has your hitam in mind. Hitam means what is the best for this person. And the best thing to give is Atma Jnanam, nothing else. That is the best. Because friend means, okay, I scratch your back and then tomorrow you scratch my back. All these things, ye nahi kaam chalega. This will not work. This is not really a friend. This is some kind of an accomplice. So, you see, you can be friends with the person or with their patterns. So, initially you start becoming friends with the person. Then, after the familiarity starts, then what happens? You become friends with their patterns because their emotional patterns agree with your emotional patterns. And then very soon there is a marriage proposal. Okay? Yeah. So this is something that can be a problem. So here, that's not the kind of friendship vitiated by raga dvesha that we are talking about. So here we are talking about the kind of friendship where one party being Bhagavan not losing himself here in this friendship. Sakha asi means, yes, I care about you. I care about you a lot and therefore I am giving you this knowledge. Therefore I am choosing you to be the bearer of this knowledge now which has gone into hiding. That's why he is calling it rahasyam. And the same word rahasyam, guhyam is going to be used again in chapter 9. And which is in fact funnily translated as chapter 9. How is it? Yeah, kingly knowledge and kingly secret. So that is how they, yeah, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, kingly knowledge, kingly secret. The focus is not on kingly, it's on the knowledge. Then why is it a secret? It is a secret for all the reasons we saw in the word Ascharyavat Pashyati Kashchidenam, Ascharyavat Vadati Kechidanyah. That was when we saw towards the end of chapter 2. That is the reasons why it is a secret. It's always a wonder. And it's a secret because it is the best kept secret, because it is kept from you, even though it is your own nature. That secret is kept from you. It's like that story that Pujya Swamiji used to tell. And what was that story? He would say that there is two fellows were going in the train, and what happened? So one of them was a pickpocket. That's what he used to do. He used to buy the ticket, get on the train, and rob the people in the sleeping in the other compartment, in the other berths. And then, maddeningly enough for this thief, the man in the opposite berth was counting his money, going like this and counting the money, wads of notes. And then at night he used to count the money carefully, put it away, and then he was sleeping right on top of the money. This man could not this thing. He would count the money during the daytime, and then he would be paying vigil. He would not leave this money alone. Never got off without the money at any station. It was a 2.5 day journey, 2 nights and half a day extra. And then so the first night the thief got active, the fingersmith got very busy, and he looked everywhere. He looked in the man's luggage, he looked in the man's shirt pocket, pant pocket, under the pillow. The man was a heavy sleeper, no problem at all. He turned him over also and looked underneath him. Nothing, no money. And the next day again, unknowingly, he's counting it. And then, same thing happens. That night, the thief makes a sankalpa. I am going to steal from this fellow. And then what happens? Nothing. He turns the whole suitcase upside down and cuts the lining of the suitcase, thinking that maybe it's hidden in the lining. There also, nothing. And finally, we are on the last morning, the destination is arriving, we are going to get down, and then the man is annoyingly counting his money again. And then he says, okay, I give up. I have been in this business for 25 years. You have totally flummoxed me. Anyhow, I'm going to get down and go. Tell me your secret. Where were you hiding this money? Tell me. And what did the thief say? The man say, I was hiding it under your pillowcase. When you went to the bathroom at night, I hid it because that is not even the last place. That is the place you will not look at all. And in the morning when you went to the bathroom, I took it out. And that's when you saw me counting it. So like this, Atma Jnanam is like that. It is hidden. Guhyam means hidden from oneself. Hidden from oneself alone. That's why it is guhya. And if it is hidden from oneself, how can it be communicated to anybody else? It is hidden from all. And then that is why I am choosing you to give it. But then, after he says this, the Lord is going to take a little diversion and talk about Avataravada, and then we will come back to the question of self-knowledge and how it is unfolded in the 4th chapter. So, this diversion is caused by Arjuna's question. Aparam bhavato janma, param janma vivasvatah, kathametad vijaniyam tvam proktavaniti. Aparam bhavato janma. Your janma aparam. It's just we are contemporaries. You were born to Devaki, you were carried away to Vrindavan, and you were raised over there with Mother Yashoda. We know all this. We celebrate your birthday. And where were you at the time when the sun god was there? And then how could you have given? Or you must be bluffing because you like to play the games, and that is what you are, oh Krishna. How can I take you seriously. So now we are going to take this little diversion into what is called Avataravada with the next verse. Let us, we'll chant the verse later since we are already talking about this. First, I'll give a little introduction to what is Avatara, and then we will look at the differences between Avatara and a regular homegrown jiva. What is the difference? And then we will see, we'll come back to the verse and look at what it is. The word avatara is made from the upasarga ava and then the tru, root verb tru, to cross. But when the upasarga ava comes, avatarah, then we make a noun tarah, and then when the upasarga ava comes, it changes the meaning to the, what is the best English translation? Descent, descending. Okay, this itself tells us a lot of things about what an avatara is. So avatara is Bhagavan in the form of a jiva who has incarnated himself, herself for a specific purpose or for many specific purposes. The avatara has full cognizance of who I am, unlike jiva. Jiva doesn't understand who I am. It takes ages to find out. Even after having a human birth, who am I, who am I, who am I, one keeps asking. So the avatara doesn't have this problem. Then we say, generally we see in the universe, the avatara has a immaculate birth. Even in Christianity they say that. For Jesus, immaculate birth. Not, meaning not through the normal process of birth. Rama is an exception, and Rama is an exception specifically because he was incarnated to kill who? Ravana. And Ravana had got a boon from Lord Shiva saying that I should only be killed by a human being. And you know why he asked that? Because he felt he had the hubris. Hubris means great pride that comes before a fall. And he had this hubris that, human beings are nothing. I can, with all my 10 heads, I can vanquish them. That pride itself got the thing. Okay, so immaculate birth. And then knowing everything. Born with total self-knowledge. Naturally, because Bhagavan has self-knowledge, that self-knowledge doesn't get hidden or go away just because they are having the life of a jiva. And it need not be just a human life. In the Hindu tradition, which is very unique with this concept of avatara, it's just really, really amazing. We have, so many animals. What are they? Fish, Matsyavatara, then turtle or tortoise. Tortoise. Is it turtle or tortoise? I can never tell the difference, doesn't matter. One of those things. Okay, Kurma Avatara, then boar. Not B-O-R-E, B-O-A-R. Wild pig Avatara. So like this we have so many animals also. It is not that it has to be in a human form, any jiva form. And so, as we will see in the verse itself, when dharma and adharma, when adharma overpowers dharma, then the avatara comes to set things right. So if anybody is wondering where is the avatara now? What is going on? Look in the world, what is happening? Well, Bhagavan is watching closely and he sees that there are 6-month courses going on. People are studying the Bhagavad Gita. People are doing puja. People are following dharma. And so therefore, there is not yet another avatara. Okay. So then, with this introduction, we will see three things. That there are three differences between the jiva, a regular jiva, and an avatara, based on the janma karana, cause of the birth taking. Then swarupa, based on the swarupa, second distinction. And the third one, swarupa means the nature. And the third distinction between a regular person or a regular jiva and an avatara is purpose, uddeshya. These are the three things we have to see very clearly, so that we are not confused between the jiva and the avatar. So first thing is the karana, the cause of birth. What is the cause of birth? Karma phala. What is karma phala due to? Karma. What is karma due to? Kama. What is kama due to? Abha. Yes. So avidya is the cause of birth. Very nice. You took it step by step. Very nice. So avidya, ajnanam is the cause of birth, isn't it? So then, if we say avatara is born of ajnanam, then we are in a fix. That's why? Because the avatara cannot fix anything. Because the avatara becomes one of us, one of everyone else. So therefore, the cause of birth for the jiva is atma ajnanam. The cause of birth for avatara is jnanam, no ajnanam, diametrically opposed. Then a related one, the cause of birth for the jiva is exhaustion of karma. Karma is the cause of birth. Karma phala gives rise to a body. Whereas the cause, the karana of the avatara's sharira cannot be karma, or at least his own karma. Whose karma is it? All the people who are praying. The rishis start to pray, the ordinary people start to pray, trahimam, pahimam, that karma. And what kind of a karma is it? Punya. Punya vishesha karma. It is only punya, because prayer is punya. So all the prayers of all the people all over the world give the cause of birth for the avatara. So the people's prayers become the cause of birth for the avatara, whereas the jiva's own karma, spurred by atma ajnanam, becomes the cause of birth for the jiva. Very big difference. Do you see that? Yeah. Other people's karmas become the cause of birth for the avatara. And then that is one more thing. And then so this is so from the standpoint of the birth, big difference. Then also from the standpoint of the shariram, the body also, there is a big difference. So how is the jiva's body comes to being? Prarabdha we have discussed already. Okay, now we are looking at the nitty gritty. So we saw in the Tattva Bodha and everything. What did we see? Rains. And when the rains come, what happens? The annam comes. And then The parents eat the annam. The parents eat the anna, and that becomes the cause of the jiva's birth. Okay? So, jiva's birth is also because of Maya, but an indirect Maya. In the sense, the Maya first is in the form of the five elements, and then the five elements then gives rise to food, and then the food eaten gives rise to the body. You see, it's a very indirect process, whereas for the avatara it is a direct process. Directly the shariram is taken. That's why it's called immaculate birth. You see this. You don't see it so much in Rama and Krishna because they had other things to do, which is why they had to have certain bodies. But you see it very clearly in the avatara called Narasimha. You can't go around asking who is Narasimha's mummy. Where did he get the Simha part? Did he get it from his mummy or his daddy? You can't ask that. No question who is the father, who is the mother. Magic body immediately has come, directly Maya. Mayikam Shariram. It's just fascinating. Mayikam Shariram. Directly the body has come. It doesn't have to go through five elements. Nobody has to eat the annam, and then the body need not have a gestational period of 9 months or 18 months in case of an elephant body. All these things are not needed, not there, not wanted, not desired. It's not needed at all. Just by a thought, Bhagavan can create. So Bhagavan creates a body for himself, herself, just by the thought, enters into that body, and then bye-bye Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was a demon who wanted world domination, and he wanted the whole kingdom to say Om Hiranyaya Namaha. That's all they had to say, night and day. And everybody agreed because that's what they do to dictatorial tyrants, because nobody wanted to lose their head. The only one who would not agree was his small son Prahlada. And what did Prahlada say? Om Namo Narayanaya. No. You got it wrong. Om Hiranyaya Namaha. No. The boy says Om Namo Narayanaya. And the father tries everything, imprisons him, and then doesn't give him food, and then finally tries to coax him, puts him on his lap and say, look, I am the best, east or west, chant my name. The boy says, no, Narayana. And he says, who is feeding you? Gets very angry. Who is clothing you? Who is there? I am doing all this. Where is your Narayana? Everywhere, the boy says. And the father points to a pillar on the wall in the palace, in the room, in the palace, in the hall. Is your father here? Is Narayana here? Yes. My Narayana is here, the boy says with utmost conviction. Hiranyakashipu kicks the pillar. Out comes a terrible form. Half lion, half human. And it is lunchtime. He comes with a little napkin tied around his neck. Doesn't need fork and spoon because claws. Why did he need claws? Because Hiranyakashipu, when he had asked for the boon, had many clauses on the list. Clause number 1, no human can kill me. These Rakshasas also have many strange things, demands. No animal can kill me. For Bhagavan, this is easy. Okay, half and half. No problem. And then what else? I should not be killed outside the house. I should not be killed inside the house. That is why thresholds are made. And that is why to this day, no auspicious things happen at the threshold. You don't give money across the threshold. You ask them to come in or you go out. You don't do any auspicious things. You don't do any transactions on the threshold. It's a after thanks to Hiranyakashipu, it's seen as a dangerous place. So then I shouldn't be killed in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. Aha, what's left? Twilight. And I shouldn't be killed on the floor. I shouldn't be killed on the air. And Narasimha said, that's why I have a nice lap. So put him on his lap and the claws did the rest. All the clauses he had were disposed of by the claws. Final clause. And so this way the avatara is there in a Mayika body, magic body. So even Ramakrishna had magic bodies, but they had to come through the human being for specific purposes. Much more overt in the case of Rama, Lord Rama. So then this is the first point. The cause of birth is very different. And then the second point is what? The Swarupa. What is the Swarupa of the Jiva? Don't say Satyam Jnanam Anantam even though it is true. The regular Swarupa of the Jiva, very, very sorry, I am a samsari. And then what is the Swarupa of Bhagavan? Asamsari. What is the Swarupa? What is the Jiva's lot? Ajnanam. What is the Bhagavan's lot? Sarvajnaha. Sarvavit. Sarvajnaha. You see, the Swarupa is very, very different. No comparison at all. One Swarupa is nothing. The other one Swarupa is the cause of all the laws of the universe. And the other Swarupa is a slave to those laws. One Swarupa makes the laws, the other Swarupa comes under the purview of the laws, the Jiva's Swarupa. Ishvara makes the laws. Nothing. Swarupa wise also, there is no difference. There is no similarity. Even if you look closely, there is no similarity. Swarupa wise, one is all knowledge, the other one is totally ignorant. One never complains, the other one cannot stop complaining. Therefore, one is asamsari, never becomes part of samsara, and the other one is what? Samsari. This is the difference in the Swarupa. But then we can't add on to this our own ideas and say, for example, that the one who has a lot of, what are they called? Siddhis is an avatara. Can you say that? No. Because human beings also with ghora tapas, siddhis you can get. One can get siddhis. And then one can make something go away. One can say make something come back. One can do lots of things. But that is not the lakshana of the avatara to have siddhis. Need not be the lakshana. So anybody doing miracles, you don't immediately conclude they are avatar. They may be, then they may not be. And then because avatara means sometimes there are these big avataras, but we also accept that there are small avataras everywhere. And then, but at the same time, if somebody has limitations, that also does not mean that they are not avatara. Like Rama had limitations in accordance with the human body. It is said that after Sita was carried away, he just hugged every tree and said, have you seen my Sita? Where is my Sita? Where is my Sita? What have you done to my Sita? If he was Bhagavan, one can argue. Why would he have looked everywhere? He would have known straight away she is there. And why send Hanumanji? He could have just flown or gone by thought from India to Sri Lanka and killed that fellow. So the so-called limitations that are in keeping with the human body are there to play a role. So they don't say anything about the avatara at all. And we are not discussing, this is another caveat, we are not discussing the Swarupa of the avatara in order to go and find out who is an avatara. Okay? Because you can never tell. How can you tell? You can't tell. Only the avatara knows it's an avatara. You can't tell. Sometimes people name themselves avatars or their devotees name them avatars. That is a bhavana. We must never disturb that. If somebody is thinking somebody else is an avatara, let them think that. Let them have that. Don't disturb. If you don't think that they are an avatara, that's fine. You don't have to do that. But if somebody else is thinking, na buddhi bhedam janayet, as we have seen in chapter 3, don't disturb them, let them have the shraddha, let them have the bhakti. In fact, the avatara is, Swarupa is just to see the fascinating differences. We are not missing anything if there is no avatara. Because what do we need? Atma Jnanam. When do we need it? Yesterday. And so for that what is needed? Shastra Pramana, Guru Prapti, the gain of the Guru. That is what we want. We want to study, we want to get rid of Atma Ajnanam. We don't want to have anything else. We are not interested in avatara to find out who is an avatara. And I have to worship only avatara, that is also not there. You can worship Bhagavan in any form. Any form. Totally any form, any name, everything is what? All of it is Bhagavan alone. It is just Bhagavan, Bhagavan, Bhagavan. There are wonderful stories told like that about Bhagavan appearing at the behest of the devotee. Bhagavan appearing in a certain form chosen by the devotee. So it doesn't matter which form it is. Any form you can worship, not at all an issue, not at all a problem. So these two caveats we have to remember. Then the third thing is the differences between Jiva and Avatara based on the purpose of birth. Uddeshya, purpose. What is the purpose of the Jiva's birth? Only if it's a human being. We are talking of Jiva, everybody. To exhaust karma. That is the purpose of the birth of the Jiva. Because so much is there, Sanchita, cooking. And then when the pot is full and a bit of it overflows, it becomes prarabdha. And a body is born. Moksha is the purpose for the human birth. But here we are talking of jivas in general jivas. All of it together. So the purpose is there is so many karmas standing in the account. So birth, rebirth, 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 rebirth continues and keeps on taking place. Why? Because there is so much karma to exhaust, so little time. Keep exhausting. And then, there are appropriate bodies for the exhaustion of those karmas. This is the Jiva's lot. The Jiva's purpose is to keep being born again and again and again and again and again. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, sleeping in the mother's womb, being born, dying, and then sleeping in the mother's womb, being born, being dead. This is the Jiva's lot. And what is the purpose of the avatara's birth? Here only it will say Dharma protection. Dharmatranam. Trana means protection. So Dharmatranam, Dharma samsthapanam, as it is put here by Lord Krishna, as Lord Krishna puts it, and Loka Sangraha. We saw a lot about the concept of Loka Sangraha in chapter 3. So Loka Sangraha, All these are the purpose of the birth of Avatara. Why? Because Avatara does not have any karmas to exhaust. Does the Avatara have karma? No. It's other people's karma, and when that karma exhausts, the Avatara disappears. Sometimes it's a one job Avatara, like Matsya, Kurma, etc. Sometimes it is many job Avatara, like Kalki and all these things. Not Kalki, the other one, Rama, Krishna, etc. And Buddha even. So, in those days, they were just, there were some one or two terrible Rakshasas. And then Avatara would come and make short shrift of them, like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu. Nowadays, too many Rakshasas. So, the avatars are becoming more and more complex. And so, like this, so the Uddeshya, the purpose is to re-establish some balance in the Dharma and the Adharma, where the people who are ethical, who are praying, who are bhaktas, are protected. And the people who are unethical and who are troubling the bhaktas are removed from Mother Earth so that they don't cause any kind of they don't cause a lot of difficulties and threaten the lives of the good people. So this is the purpose of the avatara. So we saw based on three things we saw the differences. One is the Karana, Janma Karana, the cause of birth. Second is the Swabhava, the nature, the Swarupa. And then the third one is Uddeshya. Why is the Jiva born and why is Ishvara born as an avatar? See, even in this even in the Shruti, we hear this. One falls into the cycle of birth and death. Patati. We hear that word. Patati. Falls. Fall means there is no control, correct? Like somebody walking in the night and falling in a well. That is called falling because there is no control. But then the next day, the workers, the family sees that the person is not there, and then they call all the people and then they gather at the well and they see this person bobbing up and down and calling for help. Then the workers go in the well. Are they also falling? No. They are going deliberately. They are descending into the well to catch hold of this fellow, put him on their back and then bring the fellow up. So this is the difference between descent, which is conscious, which is deliberate and done out of a sense of compassion for humankind. Whereas falling is neither conscious nor deliberate. It just happens. One falls into papa, one falls into difficult actions, bad actions against dharma, one falls into birth, one falls, all over the place. So the jiva falls into the cycle of birth and death, whereas the avatara very, very controlled and very, very deliberately takes a certain form for a certain time in order to rid the earth or earth-like planet of its ills for that time. This is exactly why, because we have the concept of Ishvara coming whenever we want, there is no concept of the Jnani coming back. There is no need for the Jnani to come back. Jnani is Ishvara, Jnani has done the job, there is nothing to come back. The physical body goes to the 5 physical gross elements. The subtle body resolves in the subtle elements, and the Karana Sharira not being there. Karana Sharira means what? Ajnanam. The Ajnanam not being there, there is no cause for birth. That is what we say Videha Mukti Moksha. But here there is a deliberate, conscious way in which to come back so that one is, so that the world is redeemed. So with this introduction, we can see the next verses. श्रीभगवानुवाच बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव चार्जुन तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप. So Bhagavan clears up one thing very quickly, showing the difference between himself and Arjuna. Bahuni me vyatitani. I have undergone many births. Bhagavan has undergone many births as Avatara. Okay, as Avatara, I have undergone many incarnations. And so to you, Arjuna, you also have undergone many births. Doesn't matter. You need not say, yeah, I have fewer births, you have more births. All this doesn't matter. Both of us have been around for some time. One difference is there, however. Tani aham, those births, all of them, I know fully. Yours as well as mine. And you know neither your births nor my nature. You don't know either. This is exactly what we talked about I have already covered this in talking about the exhaustive difference between the Jiva and Avatara. So from the standpoint of Swarupa, this difference is being outlined. My Swarupa is all-knowing. Yours is small knowing or not knowing. And in my all-knowing nature, I know all about your births. If you ask me which was your 5276th birth, I have it at the tip of my mind. I can tell you right now. I can tell you that you were this, and this is what happened to you. This is how you were born. This is who you were born with. Means around, who else was around. This is how you met your death. All this I can tell you. But you neither know anything about yourself nor about me. You don't know. So from the Swarupa standpoint, very different. Then the next two verses are going to talk about the same, about the from the Uddeshya standpoint, the Lord is going to give the difference. Parantapa, Paran, Shatrun, Tapayati iti Parantapa. You who are the scorcher of others. Others here means foes, not friends. Okay. So Paran means here Shatru. Shatrun Tapayati. You make them burn just by a look. You are so brave. You have so much prowess. But even with all your bravery and prowess, you cannot know your births. Because you have Atma Ajnanam. I am all knowledge. I am Sarvajna and Sarvavit. You have Atma Ajnanam. And even if you were Ajnani, there would still be a difference. What's the difference? Sarvajna and Sarvavit. And Ishvara is both Sarvajna and Sarvavit, knows everything in general, knows everything in particular. Jnani just knows everything in general because the Jnani has no more ignorance in relation to the self, and the self being everything, the Jnani is considered all-knowing. So, Natvam Vetha, you do not know. Hey Parantapa, you may be the scorcher of foes here, but you cannot penetrate the secret of these births. You do not know. So the next two verses he is going to talk about the difference from the standpoint of the Uddeshya. Yada yada hi dharmasya. Oh no, I skipped, yeah. Ajopi sannavyayatma. भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवाम्यात्ममायया यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम् धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Yeah, these three again talk of the differences and the uniqueness of the avatara. So the verse number 6 is going to talk about how the Swarupa is different, the Karana is different. What is the Karana for the Avatara Sharira? Directly from Maya. This is what he is going to say. First he says, what is my nature? Ajaha. Ajaha, unborn, never born. Ajaha api sanne. And avyayatma. I am that who is unborn and non-changing. Non-changing I am, unborn I am. And not only non-changing and unborn I am the Lord of all. All what? Bhutas. The 5 elements have come from me. All the jivas who have indirectly come from the 5 elements have also come from me. Indirectly, the body of the jiva, etc., is a product of the 5 elements, and all that has come from me. Bhutanam Ishvaraha. So even though I am Aja, see, first we have what is the first 2 words, Ajaha and Avyaya. They refer to the, what is that called? Swarupa Lakshana of Atma. Atma's Swarupa is being talked about. What is the Atma Swarupa? Unborn it is. Swarupa Lakshana. Words that imply, through implication, give the meaning of the word, the truth of the I. It gives the meaning through implication. Lakshana. Lakshana of Atma Swarupa. Because the Atma Swarupa, as we have seen, cannot be pointed out directly. Why? Because Atma is not an object. For objects you can point out directly. You can say this is red, this is blue. By color you can point out. Or if you are discerning a sound, you can say this is bass, that is treble. You can say that. But here there is no attributes. So since there are no attributes, we have certain words that indirectly talk about the unchanging nature of Brahman, Atma, consciousness, awareness, however you want to call it. And what is that? Ajaha, Avyayaha. Avyayaha, unchanging. Unborn but could be changing. No. Unborn and unchanging, always remaining the same. But then, Ishvaraha Aham. He declares, I am Ishvara. Bhutanam Ishvaraha. This is what is called Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana, I'll tell you the meaning a little later, but first understand. Tatastha Lakshana is a conditional definition, a time-bound definition. Important nonetheless, but a time-bound definition that is in effect for some time. Like Ishvara, Bhutanam Ishvara, not just Ishvara in repose, but the Ishvara in relation to the Bhutas, which is what? Jagat, the whole Jagat, right? Yeah. So Bhutanam Ishvara api san. So I am Ishvara, the Lord of all things. That means what? There is overlordship, and that overlordship is called Tatastha Lakshana, the second kind of a temporary Lakshana, time-bound Lakshana, because the Jagat is not always there. In relation to the Jagat alone, this Lakshana works. Otherwise, the Lakshana, the definition does not work, because when the Jagat is swallowed up in Pralaya, all that is there is Ishvara. Right? What happens to the Jivas? They are one with Ishvara. What happens to the Jagat? It is in an unmanifest form. Jiva in unmanifest form. Ishvara with 10 hands and a form and a name, unmanifest form. So therefore, this is a conditional definition. So long as we have a Jagat that is manifest. But that's the only way we know Ishvara anyway, because we have to be also part of the manifest Jagat. So this is why it is called Tatastha Lakshana. The word Tatastha Lakshana has come from an ancient story. So Tate Tishtati iti Tatasthaha, that which is on the shore. So what is on the shore? So a person was going in a boat to the other side of the river bank, and then he wanted to go to a particular temple. And then what happened? There were many temples. Maybe it is Varanasi, maybe it is Rishikesh. Every step there is a temple. How do you know which one? I want to go to this particular temple. I want to go to, let's say, I want to go to Vishwanath temple. And there are so many temples in Kashi. How do you know which is Vishwanath temple? And this person is clearly from out of town, has no idea where to go, what to do. So the boatman, the ferryman, taking pity on him, just looks on the other side of the shore and points to a shikhara, a temple gopura, what do you call that? A temple spire or a tower, and then shikha, there is a certain kind of a gold spire, and then he points to that and he says, do you see that one? Yeah, but there are so many. No, look where my hand is. Do you see the one upon which the crow is sitting? Yes, I see that temple tower where the crow is sitting. Okay, thank you very much. So when he gets off at the bank, does he look for the crow? Crow has done its job. Crow is tatastha. He doesn't need to look for the crow. He straight away knows, because that crow has given the knowledge where he should go, what is his destination. The crow has done its job and the crow will have flown. If he follows the crow, then he will end up somewhere else. So this is why it is called Tatastha Lakshana, a temporary definition. So Ishwaratvam, the overlordship, is a relational definition, a temporary definition. As long as there is a manifest universe, we have this temporary definition. When there is no manifest universe, what is there? Only Swarupa Lakshana. There is no separation between Jiva and Ishvara, and there is no reason to even have this conversation. This conversation is being had because both are important to understand Ishvara. Swarupa Lakshana is of course important, Tatastha Lakshana is equally important. So here Bhagavan gives both his Swarupa Lakshana through the words Ajaha and Avyayaha, that means always unchanging, always the same, and then also he declares himself to be Ishvara, and that Ishvaratvam, that overlordship, becomes a provisional definition as long as there is a universe to overlord. So then he says, this is how I have come. How did you come? And we will say by train, by plane, by car. He says, Prakritim Swam Adhishtaya, keeping this Prakriti under me. Meaning, for everybody else, this Prakriti causes problems. Gunas, Rajas, Tamas, everything. Not for me. She is my consort. She is me. She is non-separate from me. And so, keeping that Prakriti with me, Swam Adhishtaya, keeping her with me, Sambhavami, Bhavami, I am. Sambhavami, Samyak Bhavami, in a perfect way I come. Cannot be more perfect than this avatara. In an absolutely perfect way I come. Sambhavami, Atma Mayaya, through my own Maya. So I don't need keys in order to open a door. I don't need a car to travel. I don't need slippers and chhatri to walk. I don't need umbrella to walk. Why? Because by thought I can reach wherever I want to go. This is my Maya. Look at my magic. My body is magic body. I am a magical being. I know everything about you. I know everything about everybody. And yet, I have the ability to walk around humankind in this body, enjoying myself, at the same time not coming under the spell of the limitations of the body, the mind and the emotions. I am totally free. That is why this is a magic body full of Atma Jnanam, still as though has taken birth for a certain purpose. And what those purposes are, we'll see tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.